Good afternoon, AV addicts. Well, it's early January, back in the workshop, and got lots of jobs on the go at the moment. A lot of them are just silly little jobs. So, for instance, on here, this is the tail of the another Hurricane. So what you've got is, if you remember, I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you now. Yeah, so what we've got here is the tail of the aircraft that we're going to, P3554, as you can see, and we've got some bits and pieces that we need to take off the bottom there, not of this, but of this other piece, and fit those hopefully as soon as possible. They've got to go into some new tubing, so or some replacement tubing, but that's what we're going to do now. So the parts I want to remove is this bracket here is obviously totally broken. That's where the tail wheel of the Mark 1 connects onto. So what I want to do is, if we turn it over, you'll see this side of the clamp is fine. So I'd like to use that. I had one previously that had been buried in really nasty conditions and it just snapped right the way across. Hoping we're going to get this one off complete. The other thing I need to get is this part here off as well, because we're missing one of these end fittings. And then the other part is I want to get this off here, on this tube here, which for that end fitting there. And that will then enable me to fit that to an original tube that's straight. And that's what I'm hoping to do today. Another job that we completed over the Christmas period was to repair the de-icing pump mount for the starboard side of the cockpit. So this is a de-icing pump. It's made by Rotax, and effectively this was for de-icing the windscreen. So what you would do, it's got a very heavy spring on it, or strong spring. Oh well, it's a bit cold at the moment, so the spring isn't working as well. But you would unclip that little clip there. You'd set this for the amount that you wanted to come out, and then you would pump it up and down, okay, using that pump to go up and down. We're going to have to free this up a bit. Anyway, it was held onto the fuselage, the Hurricane, with these clips. So what you've got two clips basically. I've had to repair these. As you know, we like to use original clips as much as we can, and there was a bit broken off. You won't really notice this at all when we finish it. So that's that. And then what you've got here is you've got that as well. So again, it's come from a known aircraft, which is what I try to use whenever I can. And then this is the little plate, which is quite cool for actually, and these are the original screws as well that hold it on as well. Next video I'll show you us fitting that, and I'll show you a bit more about the system that is used on the holding system that is used on a Hawker Hurricane for de-icing the windscreen. So with a ratchet, good God, what's it called? An impact wrench. It's amazingly quick to get the items that we needed off. So you can see we've got the clamps off there and we've got the two end fittings. The great thing about this now is this can go to someone else who's rebuilding a Hurricane to actually help them build their tail. So that's the sort of thing we try and do. And so a lot of bits and pieces get swapped between us, and that's what will happen with this bit. The only other item I'm going to remove are these two clips here, which go onto the woodwork and around the tail hatch, so I will take those off because they will be very useful as well. But apart from that, the rest of that will stay like it is and go to someone else. As you can see from here, we've actually managed to strip a lot more down. I took out the fin post parts that hold the forward fin post mount. They go down there, and because there's loads of spaces I could use both in the tube that you saw and also little washers that go on the inside. So I don't forget how it goes onto the aircraft, we immediately have put them onto the fin post here. As you can see here, that's what we've done there, which is good, ready to go. Yeah, and similarly I've taken off another unit. I've taken off these bits here, so this is off Jekka's Hurricane, That's the pilot checker, and that goes up there. But I'm just putting it here at the moment to show myself the orientation of it, and similarly with the lower one. So what you've got is that actually goes around there. So the orientation is like that for both of them. This one goes to the top, and that takes a panel that goes into this area. So you can actually go and work on the tailwheel leg and bits and pieces there. So you can see where the stringers go on this original piece of wood from Jekka's Hurricane. So later I'll show you hopefully this piece of wood completely fitted, because I have these original bits as well. So not doing too bad with acid strapping that particular part. As I said, anything we don't use will be offered to other rebuilders of Hurricanes. Okay, this is another bit of a catch-up job. So this is that big bracket, this big L channel that I showed you last week, or the last one, from the radio tray. So you can see what's happened is we've straightened it as much as we need to. So you can see now the V's have been welded there and there to make it straight. The other one's going to be a bit more complex, because I don't know if you remember, but it was so bent. What I've decided to do is let in some original metal from the other side. And that one was from P3490. So what I've done is I've basically done that. Now this is another one. As you can see, this is really bent as well. I think this is from a later Hurricane, but I'm hoping to reuse most of the brackets for it. So you can see there's quite a lot of bracketry on that we can use. So that's a little bit of an update on that. As you can see, there's quite a lot of other bits that we're going to be not having to use, which is good news. That needs a bit of straightening. But the majority of the one that I will end up using actually come from P3490, so I'm actually quite pleased about that. So it's again a very early Mk1 Hurricane, so that's good news. That's a bit of an update on the radio tray. The next issue we've got is with J, K, L and M on the rear fuselage. So there's K, so you've got J, K, L, M. Now I've got some originals, and they've got on the tube some bits that I'd like to reuse because they're suitable. So if we look here, what you've got here is you've got the this is L, but we don't know if this is L port or L starboard. We know it's the top one. This is the bungee, which really goes to the release to release the step when you actually push the handheld hold in. It's a very complex system. As you can see, I'm hoping to reuse these bits and just get some new bungee let in. That's what I'd like to do. So we don't that. Hopefully, I've got some photographs of the detail of the aircraft, probably from the Finnish Hurricane to Viskala, because that would really help identify which tube this is. So is this LM, or is it, oh my goodness, LJ? That's going to be the problem there. And similarly, this is K here, but is this K port or starboard again? And this has got this very bent bracket here, so hopefully that will let us know whether that's KL or K GK. That's what I'm hoping that will tell us on that. And these down here hold the frames on, so I have to remove all of these as well. The other bits that I will salvage from this is I will salvage this, which you can see it's broken there, but hopefully we can bend it and use that again. We can certainly use the other part of the C-clamp on it. We can use this piece here as well. And as I said, we can use this piece here, and we can actually use all these ends, because they were undid very, very simply when I stripped it all down. Then, so that's that. Yeah, so that's J as well. And again, we don't know if it's port or star, but I've made a guess, because I think that goes down to K and that goes to M, but we should have to see. So that's a little bit of an update on the fuselage tubing. we've got to fit a lot of them to it, and we've got these little tiny little things that are very important to actually notice. So when you look at J, you'll see here there's this little, it's bent right the way round, but that there goes to the Sutton harness. So you have one on each of the J's, this little stainless steel tag, and that goes there. That's probably how I worked out that this is M, actually, because that, I believe, bends that way, but that may actually be wrong. So anyway, that's something that we're going to hopefully use to work out which way these go around. So you can see we've got most of the cable that goes to the Sutton harness from this actual aircraft, which is good. Okay, when we were last looking at the radio tray, we were looking at the lower part of the tray, which is this here. Now, interestingly, there are various versions of this. So this is the lower part of the radio tray that stays in the aircraft, and that is the upper part that then basically clips onto here and there. So let's go and have a look at what we've done to this part here. Well, here it is. So you can see that we have welded, basically cut a V there and a V there and welded it there. And then in this section here, we have cut the, I cut a spare one of these, well not spare, it was a section of it, and I cut the most straight parts of P3490s and then got them welded by my good friend. So you can see the clip that holds them in place, and that one doesn't actually have the catch. And then what you do is you see this, which actually shows this is the same side as the left side here, and you can see that's supposed to have the catch and doesn't. So you can see basically what I've done is I've messed up a little bit, dare I say it. So what I need to do is take that off there and fit it there, that catch. Probably take that catch off there and not use it at all. You'll also see on this section here, it's got fair leads, which would be probably for the rudders, I would think, either rudders or aileron. Let me think about this. Yeah, good question. It could be the, yeah, I have to think about that. But basically, this I think might be a later one, but then again, it's a crash site one. And then at the end of the drawing, you saw this unit here. So this one's quite mangled, but I'll save that and fit it to here. Yep, so there's still a lot of work to be done to the actual radio mount before we start working on the upper tray. But I thought I'd show you the progress here so you can see we're actually making some progress. I think I might actually have to try and get some drawings so I make sure I put the right bits on the right areas. So I'm going to have to make another set of this to go on that side as well. Yeah, they're not quite as straight as I wanted them. This one's not too bad, but this one's a little bit more bananaed than we'd really like. So it might need a little bit of teasing to get the TR9 fitted when we fit the TR9 radio into the radio hatch. So, done some progress, that's good. What makes this really difficult, to be honest, is on the drawing there's this part here, which is I think where the remote contact to the IFF friend or foe appears to fit to this section here. So this is two I've got one which has 4 holes in it, which comes from Worrell's Hurricane, okay, from Bulbridge. And then I have this, which is in much better condition, and this is from Jens Muller. This is actually off a Mark II, which is more like what I actually have on fitted to the drawings that I have, basically. But this is a much narrower, so even though it's bent through a right angle, that is that side there, and that's the special bracket that holds it to the tubes on the fuselage. And then what you've got is you've got this bit there. That clearly is not that length. It comes to there. So that makes life a little bit more difficult. So we've got to have a bit of a think about that. as to where we put this bracket here. Again, it seems to be fitted there, so it's the same sort of fitment there. So what I might do is actually fit it onto this bit here, and you know, take it that it's going to basically be in the wrong place for Mark II. So I'm hoping that everything will be fine. This is a Mark I Hurricane, and this is a Mark II. Just for some information about these bits, this is what makes the project quite historic. This is, as I said, from Jens Muller's. Now, Jens Muller was flying in Z5143, which was a Mark II. He was with 331 Squadron, which was a Norwegian squadron, and he was shot down later, and he was interned in Stallagluft 3, I think it is, basically where the Great Escape happened. And he, when 75 or so prisoners escaped, and unfortunately 50 of them were then executed, captured and then executed, 3 made it back to the UK, and one of them was Jens Muller. So it's quite a historic and imperative that I actually get this bit fitted to this Hurricane project. It's just a little bit of side information. It shows you the ridiculous lengths I go to try and cover and get as much original items into these aircraft, even though they are quite damaged. So hopefully we'll get quite a bit in. We'll certainly get this bracket on, which was common to both Mark II and Mark I Hurricanes. So that's fine. We'll definitely do that. Okay, so that's a quick canter through what we did over the Christmas and New Year holiday, and we'll call it quits for this particular part. So hope you enjoyed it. Not so much progress, but we continue onwards and upwards, as they say. So until next time, fly safely, have fun, and see you later. Bye.